3D printing news Unpeeled, courtesy of 3dprint.com. So today we start with Meld. Meld has really been on a tear. This is Nancy Hardwick, the CEO, and actually a 3-meter diameter part. And the company's been really doing really well lately. And another really brilliant move by them is that they are going to be one of the inaugural technologies in the Navy Additive Manufacturing Center. They're going to put an L3 and a K2 Meld machine at the Center of Excellence at the Institute of Advanced Learning and Research in Danville, California. These are 81 square foot or cubic foot and 14 cubic foot 3D printers that use the kind of the friction stir welding kind of process that the company uses to enable it to turn bar stock into really large, quite economical 3D printed parts. So this ultrasonic welding kind of process means they can use inexpensive materials that you don't have to make a powder out of it, so it's cheaper, but also less, or it's also much safer because the powder can explode, or this material can explode like powder does. So you can operate on board ships. And now the U.S. Navy is getting a 16-week accelerated training in defense manufacturing, and Meld is going to be a part of that. And so they're on a tear. They're doing really well. They're also doing this Army program where they're making the hulls of vehicles, incredibly large 3D printed parts, and a huge potential. We learned recently that Meltio, a Spanish company, Meltio, is being installed aboard a ship, so the U.S. Navy is really increasing its manufacturing 3D printing capability significantly, as they should, because at any one time, any of the major world's navies has about half of their ships, out of commission or not being used because of being repaired. So the potential and the financial burden of that maintenance is enormous. And of course, for Meld, it's an enormous market. I think it's a really beautiful go-to-market and really fantastic technology going forward. Okay, so Wipro has launched a FDM printer. So Wipro is a $10 billion revenue business process outsourcing firm. It's like a systems integrator. They'll be like the IT partner for your bank or insurer or the DMV or whatever, right? Stuff like that. And they're a huge company. Now, what you may not know is they've been active in 3D printing for a number of years now. They do services, they do metal printing, they do engineering services and that kind of thing. And even then, it's a bit of a kind of out of left field thing for them to all of a sudden launch a material extrusion printer. Now, it's got automatic bed leveling. It's got aluminum print bed with a flexible build plate on top of it. It's got a white nozzle thingy, some filtration. Really smart feature, which I think is an enclosed filament chamber with humidity monitoring. That'll be great for PLA, but also for polyamides and stuff like that. They've got runout, clogging, monitoring kind of sensors. It's called the Wipro 3D, which is their 3D unit. The Wipro 3D F302. It's IoT enabled, which essentially means you can control it and read out the information from your phone, all this kind of stuff. Just a dual nozzle industrial type system. Now, we don't know at this point if this is just something the company's doing to cozy up to the Indian government. It's something it's doing on a limited basis, or this is a fully fledged entry into the 3D printing market. There's a lot of talk and the press releases and things like that about Skill India, Make in India. These are all these kind of India-made, India-focused programs the government wants to deploy. Out of one side, kind of nationalism and pride in the country, but other side just to really grow its domestic manufacturing capability. The country really wants to make a lot of our iPhones, but it also wants to make cars and also some really tech savvy things of the future. So to take a giant company like Wipro, which is really big in software, and then get them to make more technology available for India itself could be quite significant for the country. At the moment, it seems like it's an India-focused thing with Indian resellers only. There's no announced go-to-market in other countries. So maybe this is a kind of more of an India-focused thing rather than Wipro really fully fledged, wanting to compete head-on with the Stratasys and stuff like that. So it's really tell yet. I'm not so sure if I would have done this as far as them. I mean, to me, if you're a company like Wipro and your forte is really software and support and all that kind of stuff, I think it would have made a lot of sense for them to, for example, buy like Simplify and 3DQ. 3DQ is like a management tool for print farms and for print farms and universities and for manufacturing. Just buy those two things, combine them, and make like a print suite for all of the desktop 3D printers. Just grow as that capability grows. Manage all the university print fleets. Give great service, great software, advanced features for manufacturing. Just wait for these desktop printers to penetrate manufacturing more. That's what I would have done if I was them. But maybe this is kind of a statement piece, or kind of a piece showing their intent and that kind of thing. And that's much appreciated by the government. I don't know yet. Or maybe they're just going to, be a fully fledged competitor to Stratasys and stuff. I don't know yet. I'm thinking it's a kind of a limited endeavor, India focus at the moment. But hey, let's hope they become a fully fledged competitor and really take. Put a really competitive offering out there. I think it'd be good for everyone. The next thing is also quite surprising news. It's a company called Liux. They're in Alicante in Spain. It's a 20-person startup. They're going to try to release the Animal, and the Animal is an electric car, but it's a much more sustainable electric car. So what they want to do is say, look, just having an electric car is not enough. We need to go further than that and have more sustainable materials, so more sustainable paint, more sustainable polymer, more sustainable resins, all that kind of stuff. And I love this as a vision. As you'll see as I explain what they're trying to do here, this is going to be a pretty steep uphill climb for the guys here at Liux. Liux, by the way, is spelled I-L-I-U-X. So the 20-person company wants to make the car for 90% out of recycled or plant-based materials. It generally wants to reduce the overall material content, which is of course very sustainable, very smart thing to do, to reduce the overall material content by 25%. It's using 3D printing to build the molds to make panels. These are panels, kind of composite type panels, which of course will additionally save weight. They're called amphibian skin, which I love as a name, and I love the idea of branding like kind of like a panel material. It's made out of cork, linen, primer, and paint. And they want to make the chassis of the vehicle from recycled aluminum using 3D printing. Now, there's a lot of people looking at chassis components for recycled aluminum. Now, the implications, they want to make the entire kind of base chassis component like that, which would be quite costly. You'd be looking at Optimac DED because they mentioned they want aluminum, so maybe Optimac DED would be the most mature path to that at the moment. We'll see. There could be other potential things. We mentioned already Meld, which is another company that could do some of that stuff. Again, aluminum is very tricky specifically. But the idea is also it depends on the price point, which I haven't really announced yet. Like, DD chassis components, or WAM perhaps, probably DD, some more wire DD kind of chassis components could be quite cost effective and could really save on welds and could save on having really optimized geometry and thickening things where they need to be, having certain characteristics, making kind of certain behavior, kind of optimizing it. There's a really business case for that, but I would think that the business case would come to us first and kind of the hypercar, kind of really high-end stuff. And then also, I would love the idea of that combined with some really key components made through powder bed fusion to really optimize certain behavior in certain areas. So I like this as an idea, but I think the costing of it is going to be really quite steep if they're going to aim for kind of like a semi-affordable type car. What else they want to do, this is the thing that is going to make all this really tricky, is they want to have like kind of localized factories near the consumer where they make like 25,000 cars a year. Now, this is a wonderful vision. Every single time so far, I've seen someone come up with this localized factory approach. If you stack up the economics and you do it, it doesn't really add up. Now we're getting more componentized cars. You could buy many more off-the-shelf or near off-the-shelf components and integrate them. But still, the wherewithal needed in a local place, establish a factory, and the cost needed to get the automation off the ground and all that could be quite considerable. So the economics of doing these localized factories, I don't know if that stack up to having these big kind of concentrations of automotive supply chain. But hey, this is a wonderful vision. It's a radically different vision. It's a radically future-forward kind of vision. So I really love that these guys are doing this. I love that they're pushing the boat out. The electric cars are not good enough. We need more. And I'd love for somebody to be like the eco leader in every single product that you buy, from a microphone to a laptop to everything. And I'd love for people to really take ecological green leadership to the next level using 3D printing. I think that'd be really exciting. Thank you very much for your time today. My name is Unpeeled, and this is another 3D printing news on